I don't wanna go there. We should never go there. Why you wanna go there? I guess I gotta go there. You're hearing rumors about me and you can't stomach the thought. So please, babe, so please don't judge me. I won't judge you, 'cause it can get ugly.
Islam, everyone, and welcome to the, I'll call it an open forum, our Wednesday night open forum conference call, where we are discussing various aspects of having our own government and the need for it. And so, therefore, what we're going to do tonight, which is October 12, 2016, in regards to speaking about the United States of America Republic, with me being your moderator, Colonna Ill, we're going to bring our Secretary of State, Ross Woody Bay, Jr., to the floor. And before we do that, I wanted to just read a couple of things from our website that I think is important. And so if you go to the website on the UnitedStatesRepublic.us, you will actually see that it's changed just a bit. So I'm going to see if I can screen share this with everyone, just in case I'm not at the moment. I'm just going to screen share everything. All right. Apply the changes. There we go. You should be able to see the website now, this page. There's a little bit of background. If someone can mute their phone off a speaker. Perfect. Okay. Our government website states this on the very first landing page. It says this is a government website for the Moorish American people who wish to have their political rights and freedom. Exclamation point. This site is for those Moorish Americans who are active and not passive, for those Moors who wish to have true freedom and equality and the right to self-determination. This site is for those Moors who are sick and tired of being labeled as some sovereign citizen or radical, but only wish to be recognized as being that of your ancestors, a Moorish American / Moorish national, and a true state citizen of your own right, of full age, capacity, bearing all inalienable and civil rights. This site is to help transform you into a true Moorish national citizen, part of a free national government under the protection of a state. And it's geared to remove any gray areas that you may have had about being Moorish American. So we hope that you have a chance to read through the entire site, especially for those of you who are about to join us, so that you can have a good idea and understanding and overstanding of what it is that is actually here. And then the questions that we have can be posed anytime on our Wednesday open forum calls. So let me go ahead and say, Brother Ross, are you ready?
Islam, I am indeed.
All right. Let me go ahead and yield the floor to our Secretary of State, Ross Woody Jr. Bay. Islam, you have the floor.
Islam. And Islam to all our brothers and sisters that took the time out to come on for our Wednesday night call. Today, I was going to do the law of flag, but decided that since I had an issue with my paperwork for a moment there, decided to do what is status. And a lot of us don't know. Well, first, before I get into it, let me go here first. First of all, I want to rise and give perfect praise to our Creator, Allah. Without Him, this would not be possible with us coming together as a family, number one, having the love, finding ways to left for us to do, and that's to serve fallen humanity, which is still us and all of the people on this planet, but specifically charity starts at home, so we have to start with our people because we're the ones that need help, and we need to uplift each other, and we need to go out in this world and do what we need to do and take our care of our business on an international level and not be doing it just on a local level where nobody knows who the Moors are. So as the sister moderator had just got through speaking about, that website that we have is a governmental website. It is not the Moorish Science Temple of America website. It is not a temple website. It is so that you will learn how to operate within the world. This is your government. These are your people that are on these, that are in these seats, that are here to serve you. But at the same time, you must get an understanding of how government and civics operates. So, get into that website and learn it. If you have questions, please ask, because the only dumb question asked is the one that's not asked. Okay? So today I'm going to fill in another little blank for us, and it's called status. And, a lot of people don't know what their status is. You ask a person, what is your race? A lot of our children and grown-ups don't know what that means when you ask them that question. You ask them what is their nationality. They don't know what that means. So we must get an understanding of what our status is and what our purpose is in this world as it pertains to our people, number one, and then also, what do we look like to the rest of the world? What do we look like to the rest of these people? Why come nobody has come to our rescue? Why come we can't help ourselves like we're supposed to? Well, let's look at our status. Let's look at where we are standing at. So that is the name of the topic today. What is our status? And I'm going to start off by reading it. And Sister Queen, if you can't pick it up, it's fine. I can read this, and it's about 15 pages. Okay, so it's going to go into a lot of things, specifically on the flag too. So the flag is covered under this topic.
Brother Ross?
Yes.
Do you have the screen sharing presenter invitation?
Let me look on my thing right quick. Yeah, I see this. Okay.
Okay.
Download. Okay, click download button. Start to save and or go to your downloads folder to view the file. Select FCC installer ever. Okay. Let me do that right quick.
Oh, you're on your phone?
No, I'm on both.
Okay.
Save file. I'm doing what it's telling me to do. Okay. And then open, save, and then go to your download folder to view the file. Select run. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. So in the meantime, what I have up here on the website page is our careers page. We don't call it careers, but we're calling it, just so you can know, the Youth Our Government position. And here is actually now live so that you can go through and see the open positions that are listed here. And once you click on them, the job descriptions will come up for you. So these are the positions that are immediately available, but they're not it's not limited to these, I should say. So just so you know that that's here, and that's going to be the Youth Our Government Positions website. Excuse me.
Sister Colonna, I'm having technical difficulties with my computer, so if folks don't mind taking out some pens and taking notes. But I can actually send this after we get done with it to make sure everybody gets a copy of it.
If you wanted to send it to me, I can display it on screen share.
Okay, let me try to do that right quick. Let me see.
Okay.
Trying to do that. Let's see. File.
So just getting back to the website, that is a new page for the individuals who've been to our website before or for those who haven't. Another addition that Brother Cannon may put on here was the 14th Amendment misnomers has been updated a little bit. Also, let's see, we've had some different changes here and there to various pages. Jurisdictions, if you haven't seen this was an outline of Illinois that allows you to read through and see which one actually fits you as far as where you live. In the Republic, in the Federal District, or in the state of Illinois, the Republic of the People, for Negro, Black, and Colored. So I thought that was a very good outline of the different jurisdictions that you can be in. That's also new to the website. Let's see. I put a little bit of a new face to our identification cards page, and just went through and cleaned up some things, making it look much more presentable. Brother Ross, you just let me know when you're ready. I'm just biting.
One more minute.
All right. And then we also have little quick notes reference, thanks to my brother Isvara, who was telling me, Mr. Colonna, you should actually allow people to read the website instead of having the music play, or at least have the player where they can see it to adjust it. So that was a great suggestion that I took into consideration. But just so you know, Brother Isvara and everybody, I've turned off the music on most of the pages just to see if we have any changes in how long people stay on those pages. So anyway, just so you know, brother, that's something that happened, just in case you haven't been to the website recently. Let's see.
Working as fast as I can, sister. Just getting to
Don't
the right
worry about
place.
it. This page also, the Join Us page, once I started reading it and rereading it after I actually typed it in from Brother Cannon Bates wanting to have this up here, it really provided me with an understanding of government versus state, because as a state, you actually have to have the state first in order to have the government. So it really put things in perspective for me. So he has a little bit on government and the role that it plays and what it does, the origins of it. And then further down we have information about the state. Now this is a good video here that you can watch on companies. I have here for a better understanding of the inner workings of a company, focus on the mechanics of how it's run, and watch this video. And you'll find the relationship very similar to what a government is, essentially as a corporation in the state. So this part here down below provides constitutional aspects as well as court cases on the essential powers of the state and its government. So I would really recommend seeing this page, reading through it, and grasping that. Let's see. Where haven't we gone before? Okay, more people are texting me to say that this is a pay number now. Okay. Well, at least we'll know we have to change this number for next Wednesday. Anyone have anything that they'd like to bring up as a topic before we get started, or a comment or question?
Okay, Sister Colonna, it's there.
You're ready? Okay.
I'm saying that you want to get it up on the screen. It's there, so.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me save this. Go to my email. Oh, it's the what is status document that I created a long time ago?
Yes.
Oh, I could have looked for this one. I thought it was the other one. And it's not opening either.
Yeah, that's where you have to download it. Then it'll open.
Yeah. I tried that. Let me just.
It has a little thing that it says preview not available. Then it's going to come up in Word.
And look for an app. More options. It's a Word doc. What's happening?
I don't know, but mine is coming up.
Okay, let's see what happens here.
Okay, mine came up.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and give you back control so we can get this party started.
All right.
Sorry for the delay, everyone. All right, so you should have the invitation for presenter now.
How's my voice? Can you hear me pretty good?
Yes, you're perfect.
Okay. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry for the delay, but I'm going to start reading out, and you know as well. What was that? Are you still there?
I'm still here and everybody else is. But...
Okay. Anyway, I want to say that, first of all, you all know that we're recording, so make sure you have your phones on mute. If you got any questions, please write them down because I'm sure a lot of folks will have questions. But this is what this is a document that was created, as Sister Colonna said, a while back, so I know that all the I's have been dotted and T's crossed too, sis. So
let's see.
Yeah.
But, Brother, I can't see your screen. Are you sharing your screen yet? On that taskbar, that little box that came up with the flag on it to the left.
Okay, mine didn't come up, Sister Colonna. Yeah, I'm having an issue with that. I thought I was ready to go. I guess not.
Okay, let's see if I can somehow pull up the document, if this is going to be the same one. What is status?
Yeah, it's... Let me close all this stuff.
Okay. Now, was it the one that had a green bar across the top? What is status?
Yes.
All right, that was it.
And that's why I just sent it to you so that you can open it up if possible. Because I know you sent it as presenter, but now that I sent it to you, I was hoping that you could open it up on that end.
No, I couldn't, but I know I created it in Word, but it's open now. So if
Okay.
you can see my screen, you can know where we are.
Okay, let me go there right quick. Okay, it's okay. Well, I tell you, when you're learning computers, it's not good to have a whole bunch of things open at one time. Okay. I'm going to have to go right there. Take a deep breath, Sakuba.
If you'd like, I know you wanted to make certain points, so let's see. Let me see if I can find something else while you're doing that.
Well, it's not that, Sister Colonna. It's just that my computer is going slower than normal for me to get where I need. I mean, I got what is status up, but it's not coming up under the screen sharing.
Well, we can do it this way then. You can go ahead and read. If it's the same document, I'll just scroll to where you're reading.
There you go. I got that. Okay, let's go. All right. All right, we're going to start off with status. What is status? Status, brothers and sisters, is a measure of your legal rank and standing in society. This involves your capacities and incapacities to exercise and enjoy freedoms and liberties, etc. There are 4 types of citizenship. Please get your pens out. This is going to be juicy. One of them is national. National, the highest rank of citizenship. The natural people of the land, the Aboriginal and Indigenous people. Superior court jurisdiction. So we have the superior jurisdiction. We are the de jure people. Number 2, citizen. The European colonists who came over in 1492, 1500s, 1600s, and the early 20th century during the time of immigration was being allowed here in then USA, as well as other foreigners from other countries who can only be naturalized citizens, not nationalized. Let's not get it twisted. Number 3, subject. This is where corporations rest, including corporate persons, corporate fictions, Negro, colored, black, African American, Indian, etc. So these are subjects. Okay. Number 4, alien. The foreigner who remains as such and is clothed with certain rights of citizenship, as is the citizen. And the subject, and they can be unclothed rights versus privileges. So in other words, you don't have rights. You just have privileges while you're over here. How did the Moors lose their nationality and title? ? Hence status. Al-Marak, America, land of the Moors. Noble Drew Ali attended the Pan American Conference in Havana, Cuba in 1928 and received a mandate from the families of nations that acknowledged the Moors as the rightful owners to these lands, North, Central, South America, Canada, Mexico, and all adjoining islands. It would be great if we could obtain the minutes. Okay, that's just something in there. We've been trying to do this for a minute here, but we've been trying to obtain the minutes from the Pan-African Conference of 1928. If you want to make sure that you research this, also, brothers and sisters, go to the Bustamante Codes and read that document there, because it looks like that is a breakdown of that conference or that convention that took place down there in 1928. Research Noble Drew Ali, also known as Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. He was much more than a mere religious man. He was a head of a state and a royal noble born amongst us and recognized by the nations of the earth. So let's not get it. Let's get an overstanding that he was not a house temple Moor. He was not a community only Moor in one city. He was an international royal head of state. So when we're doing business as a Moor that has come back with its nation state, and you're actually a part of your own state government, you're not just known in your community anymore. We're known internationally, just like the Prophet. We should never have been just known in our communities and just in the areas where we live at. And a lot of times, people don't even know the Moors exist. You know, you don't have temples in these neighborhoods, and some people could walk by the temples and couldn't even tell you what that place is. And I'm one of them for 48 years. They have lived amongst me, and I never knew it. And even the languages were lost. Moorish Latin is often referred to as the dead language by Europeans. The word Moorish is conveniently left off when referring to Latin. The Moors also developed and spoke Arabic language in Al-Marak. That's America. This is a word that a lot of newcomers on the line, if you don't know this word, I'm going to spell it out for you first. C-I-V-I-L-I-M-O-R-T-U-S. M-O-R-T-U-S. It means, in parentheses, civil death. So if you don't know about... hello? Somebody's phone need to be muted.
Oh, I thought
Thank
that
you.
was from your end. Okay.
Okay. Civic ignorance and civic death must be honestly and seriously addressed in the Moorish communities in America, Al-Marak. If civil death long existing among the unconscious Moors is not addressed with intelligence and progressive action, the consequences will destroy the nation. The natural law of reciprocity is activated and is not asleep. Nature will no longer tolerate the imbalance. So, nature, we are nature. It is saying that if you're going to stay ignorant to nature, which we are natural people, we're the ones that were chosen by Allah to take care of things on this earth and in this planet, on this planet. And if we keep ignoring it, nature will always come back and bite you in the butt. So we have to wake up. It is our time. It is the time of Aquarius. This is the time of knowing. There's no more time for ignorance anymore. Civil death is the social state of a people or a person who, though possessing natural life, have lost or been denied by force, threat, duress, or coercion, and slavery, the natural birthright power of self, government. In the political state, there exists no civil social law between which is supported or backed by the power of a national written constitution. No one in a state of civil death possesses any politically existing rights. Let me repeat that again. No one in a state of civil death possesses any politically existing rights, immunities, or protections, which must or may be respected by those in power in a society who themselves are not civilly dead. Civil death is the basic ingredient for most social programs. So now, if you want to be hinging on the United States social programs, all we got to do is stay ignorant and stay ignorant to everything that is going on around us, not get involved for our posterity and self-preservation to raise our people up the way they're supposed to do, to provide programs for our people to have and to prosper in this world, then you are civilly dead, and you will stay there, and you are also civically dead, or civic ignorance. You will have civic ignorance. So we must wake up. The forced and coerced civil death among the Moors is a root cause of the economic, social destruction and problems in the branded Moors, black, Negro, and colored communities and families. The enforcement of active, operative, civil death of the Moors is a colony/state priority made under the guise of state sovereign rights. The states' rights arguments are and have always been their argument to the claimed rights to their chateau property. The defeated Moors, branded and labeled Negro, black, colored, Indian, etc., and their usurped lands. See Article 22 of the Black Codes. So if anybody don't know about the Black Codes, I implore you to go to the website. There will be a little bit more that spoke as I'm reading this on the website, on our government website, about the Black Christian Codes of 1724. And okay, somebody's on the line. Mute your phones, please.
I'll get it.
Okay. Okay. In the year 1511, we have what's called the Papal Bill, Papal Bull. The Papal Bull of 1511 by Philip II was issued that took away the titles of the Moors, nationality, property, and the bull called the Moors Spaniards. Hence the Spanish-American War against the Moors, Spaniards, so were the Spanish inquiries or inquisitions. So this is when the Moors over in England or over in Europe had their lands taken away from them around this time, or nationalities. When Franciscan Brotherhood Roman Catholic Church overthrew the Moors, they used what was militantly called ordinance. They left out the I on purpose, as it represents the Moabite woman and the number 9, the 9th letter. The 9 also means geometric great seal. The Christian Black Codes. The Christian Black Codes of 1724 were initiated during Reconstruction after the Civil War to control blacks after they were emancipated. Passed by southern states instead of giving blacks the same rights as the white people, the codes limited the blacks' freedom severely. They included that blacks had to be in service of a white person, that they could not have congregation together, that they could not speak out, and that they could not have weapons. They also included that blacks could not go out without a white supervisor. Thus, blacks had to take on the religions and the holidays and gods of their white superiors. These same black codes were said to have been made null and void with the ratification of the 13th Amendment in 1865, although many southern states adopted black codes to keep former slaves from voting and imposed other restrictions. The 14th and the 15th Amendments were to supposedly have eliminated these codes, but as you read them down below, as you read them down below and study the law of the land in conjunction with the religion and politics, you'll discover these codes have been modernized in a disguise, and many are still in effect today. The colonizing companies / guilds. The direct descendants of the Romans were peregrines, or pilgrims, or colonists. The words colony and state are synonymous. Therefore, Roman law and state law are synonymous. Colonizing European colony / state established companies, guilds that are collectively chartered and styled as the United States of America Corporation. These Europeans, Albion nations, number 6, and they are England, France, Holland, Dutch, 4, Ireland, Scotland is 5, and 6 is German. All of these nations are European. Now, I do want to say, if anybody has any questions as I'm reading, I don't want to go all the way down because it's a lot of reading. So if you do have questions, please ask your questions as I'm going through, so we make sure we got everybody on the same page. I'll yield the floor for a minute.
Islam. This is Brother Rich. I want to get back to that Pan-American issue that you spoke on. I happen to be reading the May 1st, 1923 Pan-American Union, one of the resolutions in it, and on page 408, if I can read it briefly and then ask you a question about it. Is that okay?
Can we please take care, before you do that, Brother Rich, can we take care of the background first? Because I'm hearing a lot of noise coming from your phone.
Actually, it's other phones, Brother Rich.
Oh, it is? I apologize then, brother.
Others can mute their phones. I've been trying to unmute those who I had muted before. But you can mute your phone by pressing star 6, please. Thank you. And unmute. All right. I yield.
All right. Go ahead, Brother Rich.
Okay. On page 408 of the Multilateral Agreements, it reads, an American republic which for any reason may not have a diplomatic representative accredited to the government of the United States of America, may appoint a special representative on the governing board. In case of the temporary absence due to official leave or illness of an ambassador, minister of charged affairs accredited at Washington, he may be replaced on the board by special representatives of the respective government who may be selected from among the other members of the governing board, in which case such representative shall have as many votes as states represented. Here's my question based on what I read and what I'm understanding from that short paragraph there. The governing board was made up of the different American, let me start over. The governing board was made up of officials from the different American states, and the chairman of that board is the Secretary of State of the United States of America. So when it reads here when it says an American republic which for any reason may, it says an American republic which for any reason may not have a diplomatic representative accredited to the government of the United States of America may appoint a special representative on the governing board. Okay, here's my question. Is our government reaching out to that governing board? And if so, if we do not have a seat on it, have we spoken to any diplomatic representative of any of the participating American republics for the purposes of having them represent us until we can get to a point where we can actually have our own representative become a part of that governing board? I yield.
Islam, can I understand what the brother was reading? What book was that, please?
Actually, this is part of the Pan-American Union. It was May 1st, 1923. Let me see it. It says, it looks like it's the notes from one of their meetings. It says, resolutions adopted by the 5th International Conference of American States at Santiago. Well, that's not the other one. Let me get to the one that was held. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Resolutions adopted by the 5th International Conference of American States at Santiago, May 1st, 1923, amended by resolutions of February 20th, 1928 of the 6th International Conference of American States. That's where I got it from.
Okay.
Islam, are you still speaking there, Sister Kalana?
I just wanted to know, and so you're saying that this is a resolution of the fifth something, I understand that, and so it was the treaty to avoid or prevent conflicts between the American states. Is that what you're reading from?
Yes. That's what it sounds like to me. It's called the Organization of the Pan-American Union, which, from reading the whole thing, it appears to be where all the American states got together and, made trade agreements and put the United States of America as the head of that union and appointed the Secretary of State as the chairman of the governing board for the union body.
Islam. You always ask a question and that I'm already researching. It's so interesting. You did that last time. Now, the part that I want to say is that it's not figured out all the way, because you have in 1924, the next year, the United States starts to volunteer their services for diplomatic and consular relations over to a federal entity, I guess I'll say they created, called the United States Foreign Service. So if you were to establish diplomatic relations with them, who would you actually establish it with is the question. Because then further, in 1946, which was another United States Foreign Service Act of 1946. And let me back up a little, because 1 year before that they joined the United Nations. So, and then later they actually stopped the consular courts from actually being, they abolished the consular courts in America. So now, okay, let me just back up a little bit. Why did they abolish consular courts? It's because they service out their consular and diplomatic services to this U.S. Foreign Services Company. So it's kind of difficult to actually read what's really going on. And so I would like to say, maybe sidebar conversation or something, but if you have a clue as to who you would actually get in touch with and who they actually are working for. Is it the U.S. Foreign Service? Establishing diplomatic relations there? Do we, and I think one of your questions is, do we become part of the UN? And do we become part of this conference that you just quoted from in Santiago, which was the Pan American Conference back in 1928, and then now is the OAS? There's some things to be considered before we actually do make those contacts because of the research that we're doing, and partially because of what you just asked. So we're attempting, put it that way, and have sent out letters. So, but it's still a matrix that needs to be unfolded, because who is the United States really is our question, and that really is still on the floor. Are they using the United Nations? Are they the United Nations? Those are some things that need to be answered. So, yes, we want to establish those diplomatic relations and so forth with other countries. And as we read last time, I believe it was the rights and duties of states. You know, when you operate as a state, you know, you are a state. So no one can stop you. And then so when that country starts to recognize you, it's an irrevocable act. They have to keep recognizing you. So we're taking all those things in consideration, if I can say that, in an answer to your question that yet has to be answered because it's still being studied. So, but the answer is yes, we definitely want to establish those relations. So what did you see in it, if I can turn the tables back on you? What did you see in it as something that a state needs to do?
Well, based on what I'm reading, it appears to me that even though at this time we may not be recognized, we may not be recognized, that there is a way for us to be recognized, if not by the United States, but by one of the diplomatic representatives who are a part of the Pan American Union. So that was the reason for my question. Are we attempting to be recognized? Are we recognized? And if not, maybe we can become recognized by not necessarily going to the United States Department of State, but going to one of the member states, American states, through their diplomatic services. And once we get recognized by them, then who cares what the State Department recognizes, because the other members of the union would recognize us. There's another article I'd like to read as well. Maybe this will shed some light on how we can contact them.
Well, let me just say this first in response to what you just said, because in order to be recognized by the Organization of American States, which is the Pan American Conference, you have to go through the Office of Protocol that's in Washington, D.C. So you will have to interface with them, so you can't really get away from them because they're everywhere. But once we figure out more details about it, put it this way. Rich, have you joined yet?
No, I have not. I think, is this Sister Colonna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did respond back to your email you sent me, so I have my birth certificates authenticated at the state level, and I sent them off to the Department of State to get authenticated. So once I get those back, I can go.
Point of interest, Islam. Who's that? Canada Bay?
Yes, it is. Let me, part of being a slave is not actually understanding. Somebody's phone got a lot of noise. Part of being a slave is not knowing that you're free. Noble Ali already told us there is no chains on you now. The only chains on you now are mental chains. And what I'm listening to y'all talk about is mental chains that's on y'all mind. The United States already acknowledged that we are a nation. and that we are a state. They got a treaty with us that already acknowledges us as a state. That's not our problem, getting recognized as a state. Our problem is when you going to start demonstrating that you're a state. See, our people got the wrong concept because they're coming out of slavery and they're not true nationals yet. See, I'm a true national, so I already know the lick. And the lick is you don't have to be recognized by the United States. You're already recognized by them. They got a treaty with you that recognizes you. Your problem is you got to understand that you are a nation state and start acting like one. Start running your government. That's all it takes. Nothing else needs to be done. But start doing the work like a government. Start running your government. That's all it takes. We want them to acknowledge that we are a state. How they going to ever acknowledge that you're a state? Where your laws at? Where your court at? Where your police at? Where your anything at to show us that you're a nation? You want us to verify what for you? What you want us to verify for you? No, you're not no state. Why would they tell you that? Because you're not acting like one. It's very simple. How are we going to verify that you're a state and we still taking care of y'all? How are we going to verify that y'all a state and y'all not acting independently? It's real simple. It's real simple. So I'm going to say this to y'all. Exercise your 5 senses. It's time to stand up, take your place, and be accounted for in the affairs of men like the prophet told us in the first place. Islam, you're the floor.
Islam.
Islam.
I heard that. This is Brother Rich. I heard that, Brother Cannon Bay, and I appreciate you coming back so strong like the way that you did.
Islam, because the treaty is a recognition, yes. Islam, Brother Ross, you have the floor.
I'm back. Just listening. I was getting ready to say something, but I want to commend the President for coming in and saying that, because we do not need to be recognized by anybody else. We already are recognized, as he said and stated. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to continue reading at this time. The First Continental Congress, which convened in October. I'm sorry, what?
If I could just say this, the recognition was the United States being recognized by Morocco. That's what the treaty did. It recognized the United States. Just to put that. It wasn't us, them recognizing us. It was us recognizing them.
First.
Exactly. So if it was us recognizing them, why you keep trying to go back and get them to recognize you? If you not no state, then they not recognized. Then they not even recognized. So they got to be recognizing that you're a state because they recognize. Their treaty say Moorish in it. Moorish. And the treaty is still valid right now, right? Right. So the problem is not that y'all need to get acknowledgement from us that y'all state. The problem is y'all ain't been acting like none. The problem is y'all have abandoned your government and y'all ain't been running it. The problem is y'all been letting us be the trustees and fiduciaries over your land because y'all refuse to take responsibility and do your damn job. Islam, I give the floor.
Okay. I had to catch myself on that.
Islam.
Okay. Questions before we move forward on that one? I hope that was an exclamation point on us recognizing the United States and them recognizing us. Does anybody else have a question on that? I think that was crystal clear.
Yeah, you couldn't get no clearer than that.
Okay.
That's something I tell my children around my house here.
Well, I'm going to take that, brother, as a resounding Islam, and that you got that crystal and overstanding of that. All right. So, brothers and sisters, all our president is really, truly saying in a nutshell is that we have to come in our government and just go to work. And for my brother that just got through expressing his question, I want to say this to you. is that if you express the question like that, being a more unconscious or conscious, that means that you have the wherewithal to get in here and do some what? Spiritual, positive thinking for your government. You need to come in your government and go to work, because the only way this is going to work and these people are going to recognize us in an international community, the only way that's going to happen is, like a president said, we have to go to work. So we have to get in our government and go to work. Let the people see us. That's why right now we're planning to put our pictures on the website right now, on the government website for all the cabinet members. You know, we're going to put that on and let the rest of the world see us. So when the world sees this website, our government website, they're not going to see us coming from a temple. They're going to see us coming from a world foundational standpoint as a government, as a state government that is ran by its people. And its people are the ones that move its people forward, not somebody else babysitting our people. We do that for ourselves. We serve one another. If you're getting them the wrong misunderstanding when we're sitting here and we are not taking care of business for ourselves, and somebody else keep doing it, and we keep going to somebody else to ask them or beg them or push them to pass laws for us that don't recognize us as a people. They don't really truly do nothing for us. It only makes it well for that particular nation of people that we are working for in their systems. And I give everybody on this line a great example of that. When you are ex-military and you're wearing those ball caps, says you on a USS blank ship, or you were at Fort Bragg, or you were at all these places. These things were set up. Originally, we set up our own militaries. But when you talk about the United States and its jurisdictions, when you wear those hats, you were one that gave an allegiance to the United States to do whatever the United States said to do, and you went out and did that as a military man or woman. And now you're working for them. When they say, they turn around, they see that ball cap on you, and they say, I want to thank you for your service. It really goes down to the bottom of my toes when somebody told me that with the ball cap on, with the knowledge I have now, saying that I just work for your posterity and self-preservation. I just went over and cleared lands out with a weapon or whatever I had to do, being trained to do that. I just cleared out all those other native and indigenous people under the United States government because I took an allegiance to do that. And right there, that's for them to survive, not you and I. That's for them to survive. So I'm just talking about the systems that they have in place. Anything they have in place, you know, if they're doing something by force, they use their military to do that. Okay, I'm going to move on, unless somebody got a comment on that.
Islam.
Okay. Some of this I'm going to drop past. Okay. In June of the Constitution, May 1787, the Constitutional Convention meets in Philadelphia to discuss financial problems. In June of 23rd, 1787, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, with additional articles, ships agreement. Morocco is one of the first countries to recognize the independence, and this is what Kenny Bay was talking about as well as Sister Colonna. Morocco was one of the first countries to recognize the independence of the United States as a sultan city. Mohammed bin Abdullah issued a declaration in 1777 allowing American ships to access Moroccan ports. Let me clean that up. What they had just got through saying earlier is that Morocco was identified as a state or a nation that was operating on our land. We recognized them first. We first allowed them to be on our land, actually a little bit earlier than that. But the treaty definitely lets you know that there's two agreements. There's the agreement between us and them. And so we already have to be unequivocally, without a doubt, a nation state because we recognize them first. We don't need to go back and recognize them again because it's already done. It's already said. It's already in the treaty. So there's no need to do that. Now, brothers and sisters, it's very easy on here when we're talking about, because some of this stuff I'm going to skip because all this stuff don't need to be read. I need to make sure that everybody understands what our flag is, what it looks like. The de jure flag of this land is red with a green star. You say, well, Brother Woody, how do you know that? Because my prophet told me so. When he retrieved it, he described it in the Circle 7 Quran. He didn't say any other thing with the scepter. He didn't say any of that. He said it's red with a 5-pointed star and that it means love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That flag has been flying over 10,000 years old. And like our president say, use common sense and not nonsense. If it was before these other folks, 10,000 years, folks, if it's way before these folks even arrived on our land, then there had to be only one flag. If there was one flag, then there's one clan of, not one clan, but multitudes of clans of people that were on this land. Now, Brother Taj Tariq Bey explained it the best I've ever heard anybody say it. He said these people are called clans. Other people call them tribal, but they come from provinces, okay? But these names that these people have is not, I repeat, not their nationality. If you go to any country right now and look at those countries, and you take any one you want, I've asked every person I've ran into, from whether it's Africa, Japan, Germany, I've asked Europeans, they all have come from provinces. And guess what? They all have different names from those villages and provinces they come from. But check this out. They all have the same nationality. And that's what happened over here, folks. When we're looking at these flags, because this is what I was going to give a lesson on today, is that the flag over here is a multiple banner flag that the people call United States flag or American flag. The flag is a banner flag. It does not represent the Moors at all, zero. Bottom line, period. There's no reason why this flag should be up in a Moorish Science Temple of America talking about this flag is a de jure flag. There's no way in hell that can be. Because a flag, a nation flag, only represents one bloodline of people and not a multitude of nations of people that are on other people's land that exist in other nations across the water. There's no way in hell that can be. An Irishman over here, he's an Irish American, but yet that big old country over there called Ireland is still in existence. How is he an Irish American? His first allegiance is to that nation, not over here. So any country that's over here like that, every doggone one of them that has not given, they are not the de jure people of this land. They are immigrants, period. Bottom line. They are immigrants on this land. Okay? So we really, truly don't have to recognize people that are on this land that ain't supposed to be here, because they're invisible when you really, truly look at it technically. But anyway, this flag is over 10,000 years old. It is a nation flag. This flag is supposed to be flown on what? All of our Capitol buildings, just like the United States and any other state that's on the planet. We also fly it on our vessels, meaning our ships, small and large. A ship is 91 feet and above. A boat is 90 feet or less. I know that is an absolute fact because I was a Moorish navigator in the Navy, in the United States Navy. And we are the great navigators of the earth, and we are the great navigators of the waterways. In fact, we are the only ones that gave out all of our equipment. If you look at Morse code, if you look at the Morse, the lights are codes, the Saxton belongs to us. So when we talk history, we're talking all of these things. We have to get an understanding of it and line it all up, okay? So this flag represents more than a lot of people think. But this flag also, there comes what's called nation pride. When you have your flag and you have it in your car, on your car, you have it flying off of your car, you have it flying at your business, you're showing it when you go compete with other folks in the world, you're showing your nation pride, okay? If you're under a flag that does not belong to you, somebody else is getting all that power from you because you're giving it energy. You're giving them energy, but you're not giving your own people energy, your own nation energy. So this flag represents a nation. It's not a temple flag. I just want to let be known if anybody have any questions on that. I think it's cut and dry though. Islam.
I have a question about the indigenous peoples of America. I am an indigenous person that is indigenous to the Western Hemisphere. I am from one of the islands in the Antilles. Would that flag represent me as well?
Where's the Antilles at? Just please give me a clear, and I can tell you real quick because I probably don't float around on the ship around that area. So tell me where. What is it close to?
Haiti. Haiti.
Where?
Haiti. The island of Haiti.
Haiti, Brother Rob.
So is that on the East Coast?
Haiti is how we normally hear
You
it.
said Haiti.
I said Haiti. The island of Haiti.
The Atlantis Islands.
The Lucius Islands.
It is the island that everyone is referring to as Dominican Republic and Haiti, but it's actually called Haiti.
Okay, great. The Prophet teaches us in the Circle 7 Quran that those islands are considered to be what's called the adjoining islands. So absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, brother. Yes. That flag would have been flying over that, and it still is the de jure flag of that land.
Okay. Okay. Now the second part of my question is, if I resided in the islands that are known as the French Polynesian Islands or the Galapagos Islands in the Pacific Ocean, would that flag represent me as well?
Okay, now I have to know where that is again geographically in order to say.
It's in the Pacific Ocean.
Right, but there's a big Pacific Ocean. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know where those islands are specifically located at. All I can go by is what the Prophet said that.
Islam, point of entry.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's still your flag.
Excuse
Your
me?
flag follows you wherever you go, just like your nationality go with you wherever you go.
Right.
I don't care where you go on earth, your nationality go with you.
Right.
The flag represents nationality. So therefore, wherever you go, so does your flag go. Islam?
Right. But I'm thinking, Brother Canterbury, he's talking about, okay, when the Prophet is talking about that in the Circle 7, and he's describing the islands and which lands, the reason why I was asking for geographics is because I want to stay lined up with what the Prophet said in the Circle 7. I understand that nationality follows.
Okay, geographically, the French Polynesian Islands are south of Hawaii, and they're actually west of South America.
Okay.
Okay, Islam, point of entry.
Okay.
The geographics don't matter. Is what I'm trying to tell you. You already said that you're from Haiti by the Dominican Republic. I don't care where you go. Your nationality goes.
That's not where I'm going. I'm asking if I were born and that was my nationality and I knew nothing else of North America. I just come from Kuriki. Does that flag represent me?
Okay, so Kuriki, you say it's by Hawaii?
Excuse me?
You saying that's by Hawaii?
No, I'm saying that if I were born on any of the French Polynesian Islands.
Okay, we asking where are these islands located?
Excuse me?
Where are the islands located?
They are west of the South American continent and also more so southwest of the North American island or of the North American landmass, like just south of Hawaii. If I were born there, would this flag represent me?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Okay.
Most definitely. And I'm going to go even further to tell you this. And listen to me close, because I see you finna give us a geographical lesson in geography. Because you finna try to...
What the brother said to me that actually stuck was, everyone else is an immigrant. And I'm finding it hard to accept that concept if we call the world Mu. And everyone that was from the world is a Muor. So we all be Moors. So no one would be an immigrant. I'm just trying to find out exactly what the structure is in that statement.
Okay,
But let me explain it.
The structure in that statement is when he said all the rest is immigrants, he's talking about European people.
And they only come from Europe.
You say what?
And they only come from Europe. But then we have some melanated brothers and sisters who prefer to be called European. So when they come here into this place, they haven't given up their nationality because they're wearing it because it's their skin. But as far as a federalized state or something like that, they would say, "Oh yeah, I'm from London," and they'd be black as all outdoors. So them being immigrants in this situation, it just kind of it not only confuses me, but it will confuse an outsider just coming into the acknowledgement of this ancient civilization. So that's why I wanted to be clear, so that there may be some people that are listening that aren't from here, that aren't born here, but they may be taught to believe that this doesn't have anything to do with them and only has to do with people born in the continental United States or people suffering from oppression due to financial inability.
No, it has to do with, and this is why I was getting ready to tell you, before we get into a big geographical study, that you got to remember, Noble Jew Ali say this is the reuniting of all of Asia. All of it was Asia. Every piece of it. Okay? So when we being more, we already know that we are the true people, not only of America, but of Europe as well. But of Europe as well. Them are capitals they living in over there. We know that. But right now, what we on right now is over here where we've been being held slaves at and still ain't came into power yet. And so if one of our brothers that's melanated come from Europe and you say that he's European, we still know that he are more. You follow me? So it's not to exclude anybody that's melanated. That's not what it is. But we got to clean our own house up before we can come outside of the country and start helping them over there in Africa, Ethiopia, Haiti, anywhere else in the world. Because really, the melanated people here in America is really truly the only ones that can really come to aid and assist and help the rest of the world. And it's set up that way for a reason.
Islam, point of interest.
Islam.
You got it.
Okay.
So I would think that it would be most strategic to modify the guidelines which dictate who is more or who is part of the nation, the great civilization, rather than saying anybody outside of this landmass is an immigrant. I think that we should possibly set some criteria for who is melanated and who is not melanated, or what levels of melanation are we willing to accept into our nation. Because I'm rather confused when we say that everyone else is an immigrant, but everywhere I've been outside of the continental United States, everybody is black, like me.
Okay, but listen, bro. Listen, this is real simple. You keep homing in on the word that the brother said immigrant. And I just told you he's saying immigrant and he's referring to Europeans because a lot of people on this call may not be as advanced as you are. So guess what they know and what they recognize the European colonists as? Immigrants.
Islam, but I had to make sure that I held anyone. I have to make sure that I hold anyone accountable for their words, because if I have come into this conversation and I'm from an island and I'm just as black as you are, but you're saying that I'm an immigrant because, you know, you may not know where I'm from, or if I'm from Europe, or if I'm from Portugal, and the people in Portugal are just as black as people on 87, and you're saying if I come from Europe, then I'm an immigrant. I just didn't want that to get mixed up. That's all. I just want to make sure that we know exactly what is the criteria for people who belong to this and who doesn't belong.
Islam. And you know what? That's a good point that you made. So guess what? From now on, we're going to make sure we say European colonists. Islam?
Islam. Islam, point of interest?
I have Brother Ben Bay and then Brother Charles Bay. Islam.
Islam. Peace and love to the family. My apologies for the late. They won't let my phone call this conference number anymore. It's something new they started with T-Mobile. However, the Prophet made it very clear in chapter 47, our meats and our bounds. The confusion, as the brother stated, is that they've renamed you. You're not Haitian. You're Moor. Okay? The Haitian, if you define the name of Haitian, it means land of high mountains. What is that? It's not a person. It's not a nation of people. It just clearly defines an area, land of high mountains. You hear people from Jamaica, oh, I'm Jamaican. Jamaican means are really Senegals. So you're from Senegal. Chapter 47 says, before the great earthquake, we had this thing as one conglomerate, and we were all Moors. As it was separated, the prophet still gave us our meats and bounds. The key word you used, brother, was melanin. That determines you being a Moor. That determines your level of intelligence. Those that lack intelligence are not Moors, which is melanin. Those that have it, we have meats and bounds that the prophet said. And the answer to your question is in chapter 47 of the Circle 7 Quran. There is really no name of China. Those are Manchurian people. They're still Asiatics. The prophet named them in chapter 47 as well. Chapter 25, he gave us the names of our family. So these things are in your Circle 7, and they've confused us once again and got us battling over something that don't even make sense. Because you're talking about demographics. You're talking about geographical areas. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam.
Brother
I
Charles
happen as well to know that the term Moorish is an adjective. The term Moorish or Moor is an adjective. It refers to the color of the skin.
Islam, brother, can you tell us your first name so I can know that I can say your name?
Elbay.
Elbay. That's your name, Elbay?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Hold on for one moment. There was another point that was going to be made on the floor. Brother Charles Bay, you have the floor.
Islam Moore, this question is for the President Cannon Bay. Regarding accountability, do we refer to ourselves as black? Is that appropriate? Islam, I yield the floor.
Of course it's not appropriate, Charles Bay. But, you know, this call is an open call for people to come on this call to learn. So, you know, everyone is not going to refer to themselves as Moor or Moorish or, you know, we got people that's coming to this call to learn. So we just got to kind of go with the flow. You understand? So the object is to teach them their true nationality and their bloodline and their birthright so that they can begin to understand that black is a color and a legal status in this country and not a nationality. Islam.
Islam Moore, thank you, Mr. President, for answering that question. I'm now affirmed that my skin tone is olive and not black. Thank you.
Islam. All right, Brother Elbay, did you want to say something else before I yield the floor back to our co-moderator? Elbay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if he's still here with us. Were there any more comments before we yield the floor back to our Secretary of State or questions?
Islam, I have a question. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Islam, this is G. And I was just watching the last presidential dinner, and I noticed that Obama did say in his opening of the last dinner, which was some time ago, I got it on YouTube right now. He did state that this is him leaving office, which is his last dinner. But he did state the end of the republic never looked so better. And also, I just wanted to add. Yeah, I tried to call in earlier from a different phone service, so which I had to re-navigate some things and pay some additional this and that, to get on this call. And so my brother, our big brother, C. Cannon Bay President, obviously you and my elders are doing a great and noble work. Because if it's different phone services, I don't know. I ain't trying to get all spooky like boo, but still, y'all are definitely laying down government and laying down the procedures that we taught the modern Europeans or the Europeans, the ones with blue eyes or whatever, because Europa's supposed to be a sister anyway, a melanated woman, as far as getting off in the colors. And then, of course, I know, just to be in this up to this point, it's been shown, like from Sister Yafabe, that black means bleached and that which is pale. And I got a black mother, black father, melanated mother, melanated father, and a dark melanated older brother, but I happen to be very light. But anyway, I'm still a Moor, and I'm still melanated. Okay, I yield the floor.
Islam, Brother G. Thank you.
I like that. That was funny.
All right.
Islam,
Brother Ross.
Islam.
We yield the floor back to you. I don't think there's any more comments or questions at this point.
Okay. All right, brothers and sisters. First of all, I want to say to everybody, let's reiterate. The first point on the star means love. We have love for each one and everybody on the phone. And as our president said, we're on here for learning. So, really, truly, brothers, we're getting the overstanding as opposed to debating. And sometimes we want to get into those things, but I prefer to think of it as getting an understanding or overstanding of what we're supposed to be learning in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of knowing. So we're supposed to know what we're supposed to know and do from that information that we get, that knowledge, we're supposed to grow in wisdom. So now, if we're growing in wisdom, then we have to also act on the thing, act on that, because in the scripture it says that a man that works without faith, faith without work is dead. So even though we're asking these questions and you want remedy for certain things, then we should have the folks. My first question always when we're talking about our state government here, as our brothers and sisters Moors, Moabites, have you read the website? That's number one thing I'm always asked, because if you read the website, then we can have a conversation. But if you haven't read the website, then you're coming from your perspective as opposed to a state government that was set up specifically for you. If you haven't read it, then you don't know it. How are we going to move forward? Because the questions that you're asking may already be answered right there. So I hope and pray that the brothers and sisters on the phone for the first time, I implore you to go to the website. Make sure you read it. I've always said that to Sister Colonna all the time. I said I'm going to start saying every time we get on the phone call, make sure you go to that website, our governmental website, the Moorish website, and read it. USAR is the name. Go and read it. It's your website. It's there for you. And then when you read it and you get an understanding of it, then if you're ready to take your place and run your state government in the affairs of men and women throughout the world so that we can be seen and we can operate, we don't need to ask nobody's permission to do a damn thing. All we got to do is operate our government, period, bottom line. And we'll be recognized by the rest of them because the force, they cannot stop the force once we work together unified like that. Every other state government does it. Why come we are not doing it? See? So all the answers that you all have could be answered if we just got together and started working.
Hey, John.
Questions? those questions, hold up just a minute. Let me finish my point, brother. Now I yield the floor. The questions that you have with us working together will be answered if we're working together to figure out those answers. And then we can move forward on what we get. Okay, now I yield the floor to you, brother.
Once again, this is Brother L. Bay speaking. I just wanted to clarify that I was asking a question, simply holding the brother accountable for his words because I saw inconsistency in his statement. So I was making him make sure that he was clear so that the other listeners could be clear as well. A second point is that I will make is I went to the website, and I also wanted to let those people know that a lot of people are not being able to reach the website because there is a typo in the hyperlink. Instead of United States Republic, it says United States without an S, Republic. So maybe that should be changed because a lot of people aren't reaching the website. I've referred numerous amount of people to the website, and they have just not found it at all. And they're finding another website, another United States Republic, that is not associated with the one that we are actually heading right now. So I think that there should be some changes or modifications made with the hyperlink.
Well, brother, that information is well taken in, and we always look for clarity so that we can correct that, so we can make sure our brothers and sisters seeking the information can get on the website. So I do thank you for your comment, and I'm sure that'll be corrected as soon as we probably get off the line here. But, you know.
But that's a mistake, brother. I'm sorry. I have to ask this question. Did you go to United States Republic.us?
I've been getting on. Wow.
Well, when you put in United States with an S, it brings up something totally different, and I'm sure that it has nothing to do with the USAR that we are a part of. When you put in United States,
yes, go ahead.
When you put in United States Republic, then yes, it does come up. But when you add the S to states, that's the only thing that I saw was the difference. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was my computer, maybe it was my ITT. It could have been my IP address. I don't know. But I was not able to reach out the S, and there were other people who could not find it until I figured out that was the issue. So I was just letting you guys know.
It's not. We actually have both. We have United States Republic, and we have United States Republic. United States Republic, you have to put in the URL, and it'll come right up every time. So make sure they're putting it in the URL. But we do have a United States Republic as well. And
so
I think
there are two different websites that are focused on the same mission.
Okay, I know one of them is in Europeans, and it's the Republic of the United States is their site.
Islam.
Yep.
Islam. I'm online right now, and I typed in the URL, United States, without the S, republic.com, and the site came up. When I typed in United States with an S, republic.com, like the brother said, another site came up. Now, the other site is United States with an S, republic.info. That one works fine.
Okay, it's not .com for the United States Republic. It's United States Republic.us. Now, we do have a United States Republic.com. That will come up, too.
Yep.
Islam.
We also have a United States Republic.info, United States Republic.org, and like I said, the .us. Islam.
Islam. Someone else had a point they wanted to make?
Islam, no, he's right and exact. It's Brother G. Really Ill. I'm on doing the same thing as well on the internet. And, he's right and exact. They all lead to that one site. and it's on the
Yes.
.com. Is it a black screen, and it's more graphical now when it returned to top in the inner site? So I haven't been on the site in a while either. So I'm just being updated with this information as well.
The
But I
first
do see
page
United
you're
States.
talking about the introduction page.
Yes.
It's a moving screen in the background. It starts off with, this is a government website?
Yes, in orange, highlighted in orange and white.
Yes.
Underline. Okay.
Exactly.
Because I haven't been, because I've been on the US, the .us, and I'm typing that in too, and it's bringing me back to this one where it's
Yes.
under the .com.
Yes, it should all, except the .info is a different site, more conservative. The rest of them will bring you back to this one.
Islam.
Thank you, Islam. Okay. Brother Ross, I yield the floor back to you.
All right, Islam. I just want to say to brothers and sisters, all I was saying is that the one that we're going to be utilizing for the government website, United States Republic.us, that's the one I'm referring to for clarity, and so that we can have brothers and sisters initially to be able to go on there and learn about the government civics, the laws, the histories. There are certain histories on there, but specifically the laws and how we conduct our business in government, and as well as our laws that we're going to be implementing pretty soon here. They're going to be coming up once all the cabinet members vote on them, but our Constitution is in there already. So you're going to see all these things on there, as well as notices and other things. So that's the website I'm referring to. So I just hope and pray that all my brothers and sisters go on there. And when you, especially when you're referring to any new brothers and sisters, all right? Getting back to where I left off at, it's been a minute. I think I finished with the, it's been a minute on this.
Part of the document that you were at?
Yeah, I was speaking on, I know what I was speaking on now. It was about the immigrants. The brother got that clarified and cleared up. You know, we have specifics from our prophet, and he tells us certain things that we have to go by. So that's what we're going to stay in line with. The website is staying in line with that as well. So that brothers that come on here that are scholars in the Moorish Science Temple of America, learning the literature from the prophet, you know, we're going to stay in line with what the prophet said to do. And if there is any clarifications like you did get, if we don't know, brothers and sisters, we can learn together and learn that information in research and go out and look for it, because every answer is not there. If it were, we would be fully vetted with all our people in them seats that we're trying to fill right now. Right now we need to fill the folks in the seats that are on this line that have these brilliant minds that need to sit in those seats and start legislating like we should be doing, which we're doing right now, but we need more brothers and sisters to do that with those type of minds. So if you brothers are seeing the website for what it is, that it can move our people forward, and you see it as a unified state government, and it talks specifically about helping your people and fallen humanity like the prophet said, then come on, brothers, I say to you, take your oath, give your allegiance to your state government, and raise up fallen humanity. That's the bottom line. We're people here that love, and that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to say I got love for everybody on this line, and that's the way we're going to keep it. But, you know, we're going to run it that way. Okay, anyway, I want to get into that. But anyway, I want Islam, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Islam second to that. I second that motion.
All right, brother. Yeah. So, you know, and I want to speak on this here. This is Moorish Science Temple of America. Prophet Noble Drew Ali retrieved a Moorish flag. We spoke on that in 1913 A.D. and called the Moors to attention. It's the job of the conscious Moors to fly the Moorish flag again on our own land, Al-Marak, America, uplift the Moorish nation. Moorish Science Temple of America, as we know, 1913 Old Canaanite Temple, Moorish Divine and National Movement, May 1st, 1916. Now, we got all this history that we're going, and we're doing it in chronological order. But the thing of it is that, as our president has spoke on this, nationality, the nation flag, state government, sovereignty, sovereigns. When you're looking at somebody that's calling themselves a sovereign or a patriot, look at this. I want all the brothers and sisters online to look at this, that they have to line up with what's at the top. The flag is at the top. That's a nation. The second thing I can see is nationality. The third thing I can see is a state government that gives you your nationality, okay? And then you got sovereign and sovereignty that falls in place, because that means that you're off limits from all the other nation states of the earth. They shouldn't be in your damn business at all, period, bottom line. You can't have another sovereign nation coming over and talking about, hey, you need to run your stuff this way. That's not the way it works. And as far as a patriot, I could be patriotic to my dogs and cats if I want to. But that doesn't give you nationality. That's not a nation of people. That's not a state government. So, you know, when you hear these people talk about this, they're starting already all the way at the bottom. They're not starting at the top. They got to start at the top first. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at this right quick. Hold on. Can anybody on the phone tell me what the law of nations are and when it started? Is any of our wise Moors on here? Because the law of nations is where a lot of mess started for the Moors when we're talking about law itself or international law. Our people had to be in certain positions on our land before the European even came over here. You know, we were already doing business with our brothers across the water, whether they were in the land called or the landmass called the continent of Africa, or whether it was the Moorish nation over in Europe or Europa, as my brother put it earlier. We were already doing that. So can you all tell me on the line how we conducted our business? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, brother. President.
You kind of doing it in the wrong way. The law of the nation has always been around. It's the different treaties and laws that nations have entered to interact with one another throughout history and time. So it's always been laws of nations. So as far back as you could find the oldest treaty, you've had laws of nations. Islam? So anytime we intermingling and interacting with other foreign nations and we doing trade or bartering or whatever with those nations, we come the nation that we're entering into this barter system with, our trade system with or whatever, we come up with a treaty on how the trade is going to transact and how the business is going to occur between the two nations. And like you were saying earlier, you were talking about the United States flag, but quiet as kept, the United States flag belongs to us. That's our commerce flag. That's all it is our commerce banner. So not to take nothing away from the United States flag at all, and that's why the prophet said don't talk bad about the United States flag. Don't talk bad about the flag, because actually that's our flag too. And the colors of it is actually the colors of Egypt, red, white, and blue. So we got to get an understanding that this is why Noble Drew Ali had the United States flag up as well as our flag, because that's actually our commerce banner. Islam, I yield floor.
Islam, point of entry. Now, I want to ask a question on that one, because I want to know, Brother Kenan Bey, when we get off and we have a sidebar, can you explain where you got the information on the commerce flag, if possible, because I'd like to know that one.
Well, if you read your peace and friendship treaty, the treaty is what? A treaty setting up, and it's mainly speaking on commerce between us, the Moorish, Muslim people, and the Christian powers. And all through the treaty, it's talking about how we're going to interact with one another in commerce. Right?
Right.
So we catch one of their vessels, they're going to release it. If we catch one of their vessels, we're going to release it with all the merchandise and everything else. So we got to go back to that time frame in history. What was really going on was we was robbing all their ships. the days and the owls down in the southern regions, our brothers in the islands was robbing and burning all their ships and kidnapping all their women and putting them in slavery.
Yeah.
And so the Europe, the king and queen of Europe, came to the bays and the owl, which is in the northern region, and formed a treaty so that we could stop and let our brothers and sisters know to stop robbing and burning their ships. And I read in a book, this is why I was incarcerated. And I just so happened, I don't know how I ran across, I always run across something. But anyway, it's a book talking about George Washington and something else. But in the book, it said that they sent somebody to talk to the Barbary, which we was the Barbary pirates, of course, but to talk to us, and it said that alliance, a treaty was formed in which they paid us, now this way back then now, they paid us $800,000 in gold. And every year after that, they paid us $24,000 in gold, not to rob and burn their ships. So, I mean, it's good jobs in history that's out there and around. And, you know, my thing is, you know, I'm more or less about writing history than keep going back in time to it. We just a new era of time now. So we got the opportunity so that our children's children can be reading about what we done did in this time. So I try not to, you know, keep going back. It's about moving forward. Keep moving forward. So that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Islam, and thank you, President. Mr. President, I was speaking from the perspective of us being in a group and actually being together, voting, having legislation, submitting legislation to agree amongst the nations. That's what perspective I was coming from when I was talking about that. I was saying that there was a gathering place where our people of this land and other nations of the earth were meeting, and I thought, from what I've read myself, my understanding of it is that there was a meeting place of the law of the League of Nations. I'm sorry, not the Law of Nations, but the League of Nations. So that might have been the one that took me down a different road, but that's what my understanding was. Are we on the same page?
I know the League of Nations, the United Nations is nothing more than the League of Nations. That right. I know.
Okay, that's
and that the League of Nations, the United States did not support the League of Nations. They was not part of the League of Nations. And so it was the League of Nations first. I'm trying, I got it wrote down somewhere. I know the date when even the League of Nations started. But, you know, that's not a hard thing to find out since we got information highway sitting in our living rooms. It only take a second to Google it and find out. Islam?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So brothers and sisters, the title of this is called status. The other one is very important, is allegiance. Status, we have to know our status, like I was starting off and I was talking about earlier. Status will allow us to be able to be the people we need to be, and that is nationals, you know, with a nationality, with our flag, and everything is clicking in our state government, and it's running. And we're recognized by the rest of the world. Now, we will be recognized, and we already are recognized by the rest of the world right now as it stands, as a state government. Now, once we're fully total with 100% of our, like I said earlier, with our people sitting in the seats, we're really going to be able to move faster at passing our laws and at the same time moving our people transitionally from a government to another government, or a state government to another state government. So that's what we're in the process of doing, is so that every brother on this line and sister that comes on the line will get an understanding of what we're talking about, what we're doing, so that you can be in your proper status, right, first, and then you have your allegiance and your oath given to your state government, taking you away from another state government, which will allow you to be, which allow you to operate the way you're supposed to operate, like the prophet said, which is in your state government, passing your own laws, regulating your own people, and moving us forward. So if the brothers and sisters on the line right now, you're on the line, you're listening, like I said before, and now that we got it cleared up, please go to the website, get on the line and read that. Make sure you vet the information. Do your due diligence and do your research like the president just stated. You know, we have to do that as well. If we don't understand something or overstand something, then we have to bring those questions to the forefront. Even if you have to, now he has an open line, and so do I, and I'm sure if the Attorney General you have a question for him, you know, we have open lines that we will answer people's questions if we don't know. Well, I can have you to research it, or we can research it together. But, you know, right now we're in a business of getting our government fully vetted and up and running. So we need people that have these beautiful minds, like I said earlier, to come into the government, take your place, and be able to come in your government and run it, and to help lift up fallen humanity, which is us first, before you talk about anybody else. Charity starts at home. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, brother, you got a good one. I like your laughing.
Oh.
I like that. We do have a. Go ahead.
Islam, I'm sorry. I'm looking around like in my room like, is he talking about me? But Islam.
Yeah.
Islam. Yeah.
Okay. So if there's any question a brother or sister want to bring up on status, if they want to bring up on status there, if I left something out, because really the first part of what I read really pointed out your status, you know, having your nationality, giving your allegiance, knowing what your government does. If you know, a lot of you that come into government, this is not going to be a government where you sit around and do nothing. As a member, you coming in, you're learning government. So you understand, if you don't do nothing else, you understand that this is the way your government operates. It's not going to be one of those things where you don't know about your government. That's why we have the government civics classes that you're going to be taking. That's why we get a portion of history on the website, so you can get an understanding of that, so you can understand how we've been, you know, being done, because it's been allowed, because we haven't been operating the way we supposed to operate. So a lot of this stuff is happening to us because of ourselves. But at the same time, the information is right there. I hope and pray that everybody that's new understand and get an understanding of what stateless person is. Get on there and learn about that. And, you know, why is a person stateless? And if you're stateless, are you a part of a nation state? And if you're not a part of a nation state, what does that do for you? How does that affect your status? How does that affect your nationality? See? So these are the questions you can ask to yourself as you're reading the website and getting an understanding. Also, there's other parts of it that's going down and coming down the line we've been talking about, is finance and other things, and those things will come later on. But we have to get the first part down first, not to get it confused with any other organizations that have to do with Moorish Science Temple of America at all, because we have to get that correct, that's an ecclesiastical setup. It was allowed by the state of Illinois to be erected. That's where it gets its power from initially, you know. And they can't confer any nationality out of a temple. They can't do it out of a church. So what makes the Moorish Science Temple of America think that they can confer nationality out of a temple? The only thing, as we've learned in the temple, is that you can turn your fez in and your buttons, and even that you might get a fight, because most people don't pay for them fezzes and them buttons. So they'd be probably ready to fight you. But anyway, if you walk outside that door, you need something to hold down your fleshly thoughts and your actions, and that's where your state government comes in. That's where your government regulates your fleshly part of you. Your moral side is in the temple itself, or in your church. This is where you learn your spiritual side, your higher divine side. So to keep your lower divine side in check. Anyway, if there's any more questions, or
Islam, point of interest.
Point of interest. I yield the floor to you, brother.
Islam, something that's come to my attention that's already been done, so I'm kind of confused in terms of what we're doing as USAR. I would say reinventing the wheel. There's a document from the United States of America, Department of State, that was signed by Condoleezza Rice that honors, if you want to call it a government, representing the Moors with the prophet as the head. This document has been signed and put into action, and in my understanding or overstanding or understanding is that it needs to be reactivated because the brother that put it together has passed on, and it's in our Moorish Latin, which is our language, which is what you have to go with you as a nationality or a nation. You have to have your own language, culture, and land. So the way that the land is described is using astrology, which is more science, given the coordinates of longitude and latitude is given a pinpoint of our land. I mean, everything that's in this document has been already recognized. So I'm trying to understand why are we reinventing the wheel with Create USAR when it's already been recognized in terms of us being or operating as our own government and being respected. It's already been done in writing by the U.S. Government, and it's been signed off under the Bush administration, i.e. Condoleezza Rice. I'm looking at her signature on the document. So I just wanted some clarity on why we're not using something that's already been done. I yield the floor.
Islam, brother, is that a document that says that it's federally recognized? And then if so, what is it recognizing?
Yes, the document is recognizing that we are a nation of people, that this is our land, that we have what it is that we're asking for as USAR already accomplished. USAR, from my understanding, is acting as a government, but it's not being recognized by other nations or the U.S. government or the Department of State. We have nothing in writing that I see, so I was asking, why are we trying to redo something that's been done? That's my question.
I have the last question. Who did that who was she referring to in that document? What government sent the information to her? What's the name of the government?
Vexillum Atramarium, and it's in Latin, which is our language. So it gives you a lot of Latin. You have to know Latin, but it does speak some English. But when it refers to us as Moors, it refers to us in Moorish Latin. So you're going to have a translator. But a seal was put on it, and it was given back in 2005 recognition.
And so you don't know the name of the actual government? Is that what you're saying? That was actually given to that document from Condoleezza Rice was given to whatever government it was?
I gave the name. Vexillum Atramarium is the name, and what that means you have to translate it. The document is written in Moorish Latin.
Got it. So how do you spell that? Vexillum Atramarium.
Islam.
Point of interest.
ILLUM ATMAURIUM.
Islam.
I didn't
Point of
get it all. Islam, who's that first person? There's like 3 points of interest. Islam, you have the floor. That last person that just spoke.
That's Brother Uriel Bey did that.
Okay. Islam.
Brother Charles Bey, I know you're on the line. Could you come here and comment on what the brother's talking about, please?
Brother Charles Bey, are you there? Cannon Bey, your phone didn't come in too well. Give Charles Bey a moment. He might have to unmute himself.
Yeah, Islam Morris. That's Brother Prince Uriel Bey, who conducted a geodetic survey on the Moorish Empire. I have seen the document where he's received full faith and credit from Condoleezza Rice, But then the question that I have to ask all of them more is that succinct with what Drew Ali has intended for us, identifying our government as the United States of America? Islam.
There was another Islam on the floor. I'm looking at
yes.
that document right now.
Yeah, this is Nanana. May I comment on that?
Yes, Sister Islam. You have the floor.
Yes, Islam. Thank you. It seems to me that from what was read from that document that the brother read, that document is about requesting acknowledgement or being recognized or giving recognition. And it's not my understanding that USAR is in any way about the business of seeking recognition, but rather about the business of moving ahead and establishing the positions that need to be established to staff the government and to do the things that we need to do. So we're past the stage of requesting recognition. And that's what that document says from what you've read, if I'm not mistaken. I yield.
Islam. Yes. That document says that it was already recognized, not seeking recognition. The Homeland Security, Interpol, these different organizations that we need to have our IDs recognized so that we're left alone, be more in our land, on our land. These things have been already accomplished based on what I read in the document. So I just want clarity this time.
Point of interest, we can also take that document and use our computers to put a translator on that. You can put a program on the computer and you load it into the computer and it will translate it for us. I'll yield the floor.
Islam.
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 Islam, you have the floor. That was the first Islam, and then the second. Who was that spoke? The second Islam. Brother G, was that you? Anyway, the first Brother G, Islam, you have the floor.
Hello, this is Brother Rich. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, Brother Rich. Yes. Just a little louder, please.
Okay. Is it possible to get a copy of that document, sir?
Brother Ben Bay.
Islam, I didn't catch what he said. I didn't hear what he said.
Asking if he could get a copy of it.
I don't. I was asked not to share it. I just brought it up to see if we were able to speak on it. Because where I got it from is family that's talked to that guy.
Why would you not share it?
I did share it. You have to look it up. You have to look it up.
Islam.
Yes,
Islam.
Islam.
This is Brother Umar.
Brother Umar, okay, you have the floor.
Yes, just talking, listening to the brother, you cannot just throw things, I'm an interpreter, translator, you cannot just throw things in a computer and expect it to come out exactly how it is read. You must have someone who knows the language, who studies the language, because there are many nuances in language that the computer itself cannot capture. So I just wanted to say that, and I'll use the floor.
Islam.
Islam.
Do you have the floor?
Yeah. I want to get back to why he can't share the document, and where did he look it up, and how can anyone get a copy of it?
Islam. Islam. I did share the document. I gave the name and I spelled it. Someone was talking when I tried to spell it out. I can spell it again, and you're free to find it if you're able to. And I'll spell it again. It's spelled V like Victor, E like Edward, XILLUM, and then the second word is ATMAURIUM, and you could probably find it from there. Islam, I yield the floor.
Thank you.
Islam. Let me have the floor for a minute, Sister Corona, please.
Oh, yes, you have the floor, Islam.
Okay. Brothers and sisters, we have information. If some brothers share with it, don't share the information, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? If we need to look it up, that's what we do. We're master researchers. So if the brother's sharing with us the title, hey, let's go look it up. It's no big deal. No big deal at all. So I thank you, Brother Ben, I think it was, that shared that. And for the brother asking for that, information, reiterating, I understand where you're coming from, because we want to make sure we understand information. But we're researchers. And just like the president said just a minute ago, too, the Internet is we're in the age of knowing. The Internet is our friend. So let's go ahead and make it even better friend. So I thank you for giving that information out. And also, brothers and sisters, keep in mind that there is a recording that comes out. So if you missed it the first round, you still get the recording. I just want to let y'all know that. For all the new ones that will be coming into the government, and you coming in working and doing what you need to do, there will be a law library given to you. If you haven't got that law library and you are part of the USAR, please let me know that. I'm on in the directory, so I can make sure I send that law library to you and add it to what you already have. All right? I want to make sure of that. Wow. I want to say peace and love. I'm gonna yield the floor back to the moderator, Sister Colonna Marielle.
Point of interest.
Thank you, Islam. Is that Cannon Bay?
Yes, it is.
All right, you have the floor.
I have a question about this government that he's saying that they've already acknowledged. I would like to know who are the acting officials of this government and who's running it.
What's the question about Islam? That was my question. Is that it sounds like it has to be reactivated. It's not being ran. It exists, and it was acknowledged. So I'm wondering why are we picking up the pieces, because a lot of it was already done in terms of being recognized, if you will. And if we can use that and reactivate it, why haven't we done so? That was my initial question.
Okay, Islam, let me answer that for you. This how God groomed me to do things. And I just want to share it with y'all, and I hope it's a jewel for those that's on the line that's trying to take their place in their government. Listen to me closely. God groomed me to get an understanding that things that I physically create myself and things that somebody else has created and done and got signed off on and on down the line, that I'm leaving room and building my house and my house on a foundation of something that I may not be able to verify. I may be able to verify it. I may not be able to verify it. But the thing that I've learned over my years of time being on this earth is if we create something, we know what we created. We know the ins and outs to what we created. What Prince Uriel Bey did, one, it doesn't line up with what Noble Drew Ali bought, because Noble Drew Ali say if these people don't do what he say, that it's going to be destruction here. It's going to be earthquakes, and they're going to drop bombs on this country and everything else. But he also stated this. He said, if they do what I say, the United States of America will be the greatest government that has ever been on earth. So, in the Moorish literature, Noble Drew Ali is specific. He says our government is the republic, right in the Moorish literature. the United States American Republic. He does not make mention to the name what you said. And the other part of it is this. I understand our enemy very well. And I understand our enemy giving the Washita recognition. Because it's to get you off of what Noble Drew Ali bought. Because Noble Drew Ali didn't tell us to say that we was Washita. Our enemy is not stupid. He's very smart. He's very cunning. Okay? And so to this Prince Uriel Bay, I don't know him. And everything that I hear, not to discredit, but I have to be a little hesitant. I gotta be kind of, I gotta really pick it apart. And I got to really try to get an understanding of, well, why did they acknowledge that? And then it's like, I already know we acknowledge because we got a treaty. I already know that. We acknowledge. That's why I said we're not seeking acknowledgement because we already acknowledge. But it's not a matter of, and you just said yourself, well, if that's already been established, then why are we rebuilding instead of just picking up the pieces? Well, you can kind of say we are just picking up the pieces. We're just not calling it what Prince Uriel Bay called it. We just following the prophet footsteps and lining it back up with what the prophet laid down in the Moorish literature, which is the United States American Republic. Okay? So, Islam.
Now, you say that it's not lined up with the prophet. The prophet's name is on the forefront of all these documents and it's honors. Now, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just speaking what it is. USAR, the documents has the prophet nowhere on it. So I'm trying to understand how it's one not and one is based on the prophet when the USAR is not speaking nothing nowhere about the prophet on any of the documents I've read in terms of coming into the government. So I just want to understand it. I'm really not looking to get any approval because the document speaks for itself that the brother Prince Uriel Bay, what he did was recognized and they killed him. So I'm trying to understand why we reinvent the wheel instead of taking what's already done because nationality says you have to have your own language. And to say United States of America, that ain't our language. So I'm trying to see where does this fit in where you have to use your language for these documents to be approved and to be recognized and to be honored, if you will. Are you the flip?
Islam. Number one, I wasn't talking about Noble Drew Ali. I was talking about Uriel Bay. I wasn't talking about Noble Drew Ali. Number two, show me where you see where it says you got to have your own language. Number three.
Definition of nationality is on the website.
It don't say nothing about you got to have your own language. It says customs and tradition. It does not say language.
I beg
to differ. When you got your own society, you can make up your own language. It's whatever you make your language to be as a society. Words mean whatever we say they mean. If we say a dog is a cat, then in our society, then a dog is a cat.
You still not using
by having your own Islam what?
Islam, we have a language called Moorish Latin. If you're not using Moorish Latin on the document, you're not using your language, which is your culture, which is your nation. Islam.
Okay. Islam, I hear what you're saying, but I also not a fool, and I also know that we have been taken into slavery, and we have lost our true language, like we lost our religion, our nationality, and our God. I'm not ignorant to that fact that our original language of our people was Latin. I'm not ignorant of that. But a lot of people truly don't have the understanding of the American language that we speak here in America, which is a language composed of many different languages from all around the world, and it's a reason for that.
Wow.
Islam? So all I'm saying is this, bro, to keep it real simple. I I know what the United States of America Republic consists of because we put it together. The people that's involved is putting it together. So later when we get our house built, can't nobody come snatch the carpet from under us because we built it on something that we didn't build ourselves, but on top of a foundation that somebody else built, other than the prophet. Because everything that we building is on the foundation of the prophet's teachings and what he bought. Now, don't you say that you may not have read on none of the documentation the prophet's name? It's a reason why you're not reading the prophet's name on none of the documentation, because church and state is separate. And we're not talking about Lord Science Temple of America. We're talking about the United States of America Republic government. But we acknowledge our prophet, and our mission, which is also attached to our government.
Islam.
And on all the paperwork of the mission, you can find the prophet's name all through it. Islam.
Now you say that's a bold statement, because you saying something that I don't agree with, and I'm gonna say what it is. It's basically saying the prophet didn't bring you back your nationality. You wouldn't know who you are if the prophet didn't bring you back your nationality. So it don't have nothing to do with church or state. It's bloodline, and your bloodline has to do with who you saying you are and why you had a right to have your own state. Anybody can't just make up a state. You have to have a nationality. So I don't. It ain't no separation.
Who said the prophet didn't bring their nationality back to them? Who stated that? Where you get that from?
Well, that's what you're implying when you say that it's separated. That's why the prophet's name not on the document. But that's not true, because
Islam. If I may say, I have learned. I think this was back in 1988.
Islam, I apologize. Being the moderator, I have to bring order. Brother, you can speak in a moment, but there was something being said between the two of them, being that this is, not a debate, so to speak, but it's something that needs to be resolved. Let's at least let someone finish and calmly state their point. So the two brothers that were speaking, and then we'll bring you back on, brother. So Cannon Bey, and then Brother Ben Bey.
I yield the floor to the brother.
All right.
Islam. I was saying that the prophet, you can't separate church and state when you're talking nationality. And nationality is how you're able to build a state. Without a nationality, you can't build a state. It's one and the same. And who brought you your nationality? The prophet. So therefore, the prophet's name is on any document. It says it in the Moorish literature. It says it in Circle 7. Unless I, the prophet, is the head, it ain't gonna work. So I'm saying, how can you not have the prophet's name on the document that you presenting with the government that we're running as our own nation of people? I yield the floor.
Islam. This is what I'm gonna say. Have you ever spoken in the Moorish Science Temple before, brother?
Islam, I have.
And when you take the mic, how do you begin when you speak in the Moorish Science Temple of America before you start going into your presentation? What do you say?
I give praise to Allah and honors to his prophet and to his forerunner. Peace be upon him.
Islam.
That's one way.
Islam. And guess what? We give honors to the prophet, but we give praise to Allah and this state government, brother. Period. Allah's name is on our government, not the prophet. Allah. Allah. And we show honor to our prophet. Bottom line, period. I give the floor.
Islam, Brother G, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. I was just saying, I remember some time ago, in the late 80s, it was when I was around Brother Ashra Kwesi and Dr. Yusuf Ben. It was our big brother was a Hebrew Israelite, and I didn't know what a Hebrew Israelite was at the time. And there were Moorish temples in my neighborhood, never knew what it was. Yet, Big Brother would say to us, reading from a dictionary, and I can't quote it, and so he would say, power is the ability to define and to get others to accept your definition. So what I'm getting from Big Brother C. Cannon Bey President is what's being established with this government or our government is what we say it is, and I feel that it is the spirit and soul of the person where they stand. You could be, for me, I feel, and I'm 48, you could be as religious as you want to be, but if your heart is true and your nature is true, you'll get the truth. So what I hear from Big Brother is power is the ability to define and to get others to accept your definition. So if these other governments and powers have noticed our treaties, and so we move on. We step in righteousness. Islam. I yield the floor.
Islam.
I would like to say that in terms of the document itself and being recognized by Condoleezza Rice, there was another entity that I was with, a few of us were with, that also had a document that was recognized by Condoleezza Rice, and it had the same face that this has. It's not to put anything down in terms of what Prince Uriel Bey did, because I understood he was doing some great works, but he didn't have the same flag as what the Moorish nation was had the flag of. And so with that being said, you could have gotten one of those from Condoleezza Rice when she was in office a while back, recognizing what you actually are. But so the entity that we were with, who has that same recognition, we're not with them anymore because it wasn't a true government. Not saying that what he set up wasn't about to be, because they did take him out. But I understand your plight in terms of saying if we're reinventing the wheel. A couple of people reinvented what he did too, and it's to no avail. And they're still, unfortunately, taking people's money to join, get their nationality for $250, $350, whatever the case may be, and then let them down by not having any of the benefits, especially being set up as a state. That's my personal, humble experience and opinion of this. I yield to Brother Ross.
Islam, point of interest.
Islam.
To camel back on what was said, now you can say that someone else did what he did and had it signed by Condoleezza Rice, but my question is, did that same organization, was it recognized by the Homeland Security, Interpol, in the places where you need to be recognized, so that when I present an ID and I say, hey, here's my nationality, that is recognized in the system, and they have to leave me be if I'm not breaking any laws or breaking the peace, which is the treaty? And also, I would like to know, are you any better off now out of the temple in the government if I were to pull out? Because I don't have anything from the government to show, to say, hey, I'm this, I'm a part of the U.S. AR, and here, leave me alone. I'm not doing nothing, and we recognize. We don't have that privilege at this point. We don't have that already in place, so I'm trying to understand and understand how does that come to be when the brother already has done that and is recognized in those places. Why aren't we carrying on instead of starting over, and we're still not being recognized? So I'm really no better off when I was in the temple with the nationality card than I am in USAR, where I have nothing to show. I yield the floor.
Islam, I have to say this. I didn't say that they had done what Uriel Bey had done. I just said that they had the same acknowledgement from Condoleezza Rice. Different entity. So that's what I want to clear up first. And then secondly, in terms of what we're doing, the Moorish Science Temple, as you know, is a religious entity, and it's set for that phase. It's not for interacting and interfacing with other states and governments. So that's the difference. And probably the reason why everything isn't in place as of yet, as you see a lot of us working almost 24/7 to try and make that happen. It's only as young as April of 2015. And when you really back up the wheels in terms of needing to see what road you need to go down, that's a lot of studying and a lot of work that only a few of us are doing. That's why you hear us all the time saying we need to get this together with more people who can actually assist us. If this were actually still live in terms of a government, then someone would be in control of it. Someone would be interfacing with it. But what the brother Prince Uriel Bey did. But nobody picked up the reins, and so why didn't they? There's a lot of people who know about him. So I yield the floor.
Islam, point of interest, and that's my point. Why haven't we? Because it is being picked up, and somebody is stepping up, and the family is related to the brother is in contact. They don't want to be contacted until we have something in place.
You're not coming in very well, brother.
Somebody's on the line. Somebody's background noise.
Background noise. Let's see who that might be. Because there's an echo. Okay, it sounds like it's not happening now. So
okay, I'm good. What I was trying to interject is that what the brother has done already, being the president, he has got a group of us together, and he has a purpose. We take that into what's been done and merge it, because it has to be done in your own nationality or language or culture. That's the first step, and it says it on our website what nationality is the point I was making earlier. So we do have things already in place that you're working diligently to do, and that's why I'm asking, why aren't we picking that up and taking that and running with that? And if names and flags and things of that nature needs to be updated or changed, then let it be so, because if we're going to write history, then that's still a point of writing history. But we have to reinvent everything. That's going to take longer. We don't know what's going to happen if martial law is put into effect today or tomorrow. We're just not safe. Nobody's going to come get us out of anything because we don't have anything set up. And, again, we're working on it, but the reality is it's just not done, and we're a lot of people, older and younger, who just don't have the time to play with their lives and their families. Not saying we're playing, but to say that we have to take this thing to the next step. So Interpol, Homeland Security, those things are how we're left alone, because it's recognized in the governments what it says of the Constitution by the prophet. That's all my point was. So I just want to know, are we rejecting the brother's work, or are we trying to implement the work and what's being done with USAR? I'll yield the floor.
Islam, I got a better question. Why haven't you picked it up and did and followed what he started? Why haven't you started it and picked it up instead of me? Instead of Islam. Okay. Instead of you being on the conference call for USAR, why ain't I on your conference call on what you're talking about now? Why didn't you pick it up and start it, Islam? Why didn't you pick it up and start it so I could find you and be on your call?
I'm presenting that.
That's a better question.
And this document just came, but you got to answer my question, because I'm willing to step aside, or I'm willing to move forward, and that's going to be determined by how you answer this question, Islam.
Islam.
I just asked.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I've forgotten it. What was the question again, Bembe?
Are we rejecting what the brother Prince has done, or are we going to use some of what has been done and tie it into what we're doing at USAR? That's my question.
I heard the brother Ken Bay say earlier that he hasn't seen the document and he didn't know about it. So to have a decision at this moment, I wouldn't expect to make it off of no information. So I would say that he probably needs to be informed about it first.
I can answer that without seeing the document. That's a simple one for me to answer. When you said that he got a different flag than the one that Noble Drew Ali said 10,000 years old, I don't have to even investigate that no more. That in itself let me know. Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement. I don't cut you off, brother, when you talking. I don't have to read the document. Now, this is me. I ain't speaking for everybody on this call, because I'm not slow. I don't have to read the document if the flag ain't right. Like they said in the O.J. Simpson trial, if the gloves don't fit, you must have quit. If the flag don't fit, I already quit before I even got started with it. If he didn't represent that red flag with that green 5.5 in that government or that nation that he called himself establishing, that ain't for me, bro. Because my flag over 10,000 years old, it attaches me to a nation of people that are of Moroccan descent, born in America, that's Moorish Americans that are descendants of the ancient Moabites. That when he vote, if it don't line up with that, that ain't none of me.
In all fairness, let me mention what the flag looks like, that it seems as though he's representing on this Velexum at Mariam. It's a it's black and white copy, so I don't know if it's got colors. But it's got two stripes over, one above an S that's in a circle, and one below and the S that's in the circle. So whatever is on the sides of the S, I'm not sure. But if this is the flag he's representing, then no, it is not the same flag that Noble Drew Ali said was the Moorish American flag.
Point of interest, that is not the flag. That is not the flag representing the Moors, and that is a government state flag. That is not our nationality flag on that document. I've never said that. I never implied it. But my question has been answered, so I yield the floor. Islam.
Okay, because your question was, are we turning down what the brother is saying?
Islam.
And as far as what I can tell, if this is the same document, then if he's not using this flag, I wonder why it's there. Let me yield to Brother Ross.
Islam. I don't have any. I yield the floor back, Sister Cologne. I don't have any more comments at this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. That must not have been you. Was that Brother Umar?
That was somebody else.
Sounds like you.
Islam, Brother Umar. I'm calling
Umar, yes. Islam, brother, you have the floor.
Peace. I think I understand both sides. What the president is saying, that it's already here. It's here. It's activated. That's a wrap. It's done. But I also see what the other brother is saying as far as Prince Uriah Bey. I've studied his work, and what the brother is saying as far as language, this is important to have your own language. But I believe, and don't get me wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the prophet did say Spanish is one of the most important languages to learn. So if we can at least be bilingual, that is of utmost importance, according to the prophet. Now, we do need to have our own language, but we're not even there yet. So I agree with the brother on that. The Moorish, Latin, all that, and even learning language. Again, I'm a language dude, so even learning Latin, that's a heavy thing. You just can't read the documents, put it in the computer, and all that. But I do see where the brother is coming from on that point. But the prophet did say that Spanish is one of the languages that we do need to learn. We do at least need to be bilingual. I teach English to people from all around the world, and they know who we are. Trust and believe. I have conversations with cats around the world. They know who we are. Trust me and believe that. Or you can study it. But I'm in class every day. So I just wanted to say both brothers have good points. And the president is exactly correct. We're not asking for nothing. With language, you can go into their space and speak their language, and they already know. So with that, I yield the floor, and just want to say peace.
Islam. I do want to make a comment.
Yes, Brother Ross, you have the floor.
Okay, to all my brothers on the phone and the sisters, of course, I just want to say to everybody, to Brother Ben, I love you. You're my brother. You always will be. That's never going to change. To all my brothers and sisters, I ain't got nothing but love for you, like I said before. But when we're doing this thing right here, even if you're coming from the standpoint of Uriah Bey, and I haven't read the letter neither, brother, just listening to what you said, coming from that standpoint, we still would have to use common sense when we're talking about these things, because remember, we've been asleep for over, 400-500 years? Take a number. Any one of y'all on the phone could take a number. I guarantee you it's been over 200 years. And because it's been over so long, both you and Cannon Bay, just like my brother said, I'm camel backing off what he said, both of you are correct. However, when you're talking about our laws, you're talking about us moving, and why haven't we paralleled with this individual? Well, I didn't know nothing about the letter, and some other people may not have known about the letter, but the bottom line is, as long as we're staying within what the prophet said to do, then this is our start, and this is our government right now set up so that we can go ahead and hit those points. If we don't speak a language right now, and we're speaking the language that we're speaking right now, using my comments, using your comments, we come together and get the government going. And what the president said is that when we vote in, we can make any law, just like our laws. We're making our laws to fit our people. We didn't go to nobody else to ask them for that. Why would it not be the same thing for our languages? Why would it not be the same thing at bringing our language and our culture and everything back? We have to get going with that, and we are working it. That's why you hear the moderator and the president and others will get on this line and say we need other folks to help us. You bring your brilliancy, your intellect, and all that you have to your government to work it so that we can do that. That's what we're doing. That's what I thought we were doing. That's what I'm with the understanding that we're doing. So if we have people like y'all to come in and do this, then, hey, let's do it together, work together. That's all we got to do. And we can be where we need to be, whether Uriel hit his point or not. He still made some great points from what you read. However, if he's not on point with everything, specifically the things that we need to run a state government and to be in line with what the prophet said, then he may be off. And you're going to get other brothers and sisters that bring good points, good documents, and these things to the forefront. But at the same time, can we agree to disagree without going, getting up? Can we agree to disagree on things that we bring to the table? That's why we have parliamentary procedures when we're talking, to respect one another. That's when that star comes into effect. Like I said earlier, the first one is love. We got love for each other, and I know that we be making our points on here. But I feel that energy coming up. I feel it because I have that same type of roar sometimes as a lion. But we all are, in my book on this line, alphas, because we're seeking the truth about what we're trying to do here. Okay? So let's just all come together. If we can agree to disagree, like I said, but let's get to the end, the final goal. What are we trying to do here? What is the ultimate goal? Is to do what the prophet said to do. That's the ultimate goal. And you cannot leave the prophet out. The point I want to make with that is that when you go to any, specifically the United States, because that's who we're dealing with, when I see all the congressmen and all of them go up, this is a point for everybody on the phone. There is nothing in their documents that I have read myself, whether it's statutory laws, whether it's codes or anything like that has anything to do with God. Nowhere. They're doing legislation. So our documents right now do not have the prophet on it. If it does, it's only to be recognized at the beginning so that these people will know where we're coming from and where we get our power from. We don't get it from them at all, period. We don't get it from them. And they're not coming to us saying anything about Jesus Christ or any other God or anything like that about the laws that they're passing. They're not asking us anything. So they do cross when we begin our openings of our meetings. Mostly my meetings I've seen with governmental officials doing that way. But I've never seen them go in and say, well, if you don't do this way, you're going to be struck down for this because this says this over here spiritually. I think when we're talking about crossing of spiritual beliefs and those things ecclesiastical, well, I think we need to get an overstanding of that, because sometimes when I hear people talking like that, I even kind of get mixed up on that. I'm like, okay, hold up, that don't jive with my psyche there. So I'm gonna yield the floor on that, and
it's point of interest.
Yes, sir.
I like the camel. I like to camelback on that statement. And let's use Morocco. In any statement, and I've interacted with Morocco just in April this year, any time that you write a letter, any time that there's a government document, it says king on that document. So in our government, it's the same thing. The Prophet Noble Ali is our head of our government. He's the head of the temple as well. The temple is a school where you learn about your nationality, but the Moorish National Movement is really what we're portraying here, and that is where the Prophet is the head. And so acknowledge the Prophet are in line with any other government of foreign land. The U.S. government doesn't have a sultan or king. They have a president because it's a corporation. They have a secretary because it's a corporation. So these things are not going to be seen in any document of the United States. But any other document in any foreign land, they have the prime minister, they have the king, they have the sultan, they have the emperor. Those names are on any document of any government, letter or head or anything that's addressed. I yield the floor.
Islam, Sister Emmeline, you have the floor.
Yes. I just want to start out by saying that a lot has been said on the call tonight, but I just wanted to bring a few points to the floor. I know that there some people study history, and depending on the time period that you're studying, will deem the language and terms being used to describe, people, things, places, and such. So I just want to say we have to keep in mind, when we talk about naming a people or place or thing, we have to really look at the timelines and the landmass that you're speaking of, because there are some things in history that have been very much, misconstrued by the Europeans that gave us just bits and pieces of it. So there was a brother who mentioned that he had studied with Dr. Kwesi or had exposure to Dr. Kwesi and Dr. Ben. So one of the things that Noble Ross and I did in 2012, we went on Dr. Kwesi's tour, actually both of them, to Egypt and to Ethiopia. And one of the things that we discovered by going to Egypt is that the things that they tell us in books and such, unless it's written by Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark or some of the greats, is really straight out lies. It's lies. So just like the banner flag, that when that was being spoken of, that comes from the temple in Cupta. It's a shield that's red, white, and blue with a phoenix, with the same amount of, they have the spears. It's an olive. It's olives, 13 olive leaves. So the symbolism and such comes from our people. The people, across the waters are our cousins. They're in our bloodline. So when you look, depending on even the time periods of where things are evidenced and spoken of, when you look even, 6 millennium ago or 3 millennium ago, they had such things as nation states. But we are not exposed to the governmental aspects of a lot of times in our studies of Egypt and how the government was really structured. So just like people who are in college now, if you would ask somebody that's a sorority, they was like, oh, well, this, Greek sorority, Greek symbols. They don't know those symbols come off the temple wall. They have no idea. So when we speak of certain things, whether it's back then or even recently, because even in our recent history, people have sharp memories. Even things from 50 years ago, our people don't know about. So we have to really delineate that. And as far as recognition, I don't, have not read anything in history where our people were, fighting so much to get recognized by someone who is not supposed to be in governance over us anyway. Yes, today's construct is very different, and there are things that we have to do, but the only recognition personally that I'm seeking, and not from a European that is pale-face or, whatever, is I'm seeking acceptance by Allah. He is my creator. He is my guide and my salvation. That is in the prayer. So I understand that, when our people came out of slavery, we clung to certain things that we thought we needed to be validated, and we still do it today. And, yes, it's important that we have our IDs and such, and it be recognized in a certain way so we can travel and such. But the thing about it is, when we go back even 10 years ago, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, when the Washita was named the oldest civilization on Earth, what good did it do to them? They don't even recognize a lot of the things. They call themselves Moors, and I'm not criticizing them, but from what I understand, Prophet Nubuju Ali and the head of the Moorish Empire, the Queen, were cousins. So they have a seat. I think the seat at the UN is 215, number 215, but yet it sits empty. It sits empty. So if there are all of these recognitions from 2005 or prior or even more recent, why is no one sitting in that seat? So it's evidence that something is still wrong if none of our people, from no matter where they get their recognition from, is not sitting in that seat. And even though we're not there, we're young, we are outlining the things that we need to do to step and move in the right direction. And for those who are not cabinet members and for those who are just, coming to the call, there are things that we can't talk about officially at this point, but trust, we're getting it done. It may not be fast enough, but I can say for sure for anyone who has participated in the government that is doing the work, Allah's hand and Allah's favor is guiding us and protecting us. And I just wanted to bring that to the fore, and I yield.
Islam, very well said.
Islam.
Thank you. Let me unmute some of the people that I've muted. Anyone else have any comments they'd like to make or questions to ask? Thank you all. Sister Emeline, your very peaceful voice at the end there, making a beautiful point, a couple of them. We appreciate everyone coming to this meeting because really the bottom line is how do we all figure it out together without falling apart? We've done that so many times in terms of going here, going there, and then always being at each other instead of with each other. And so with this particular nation, state, and everything that I've seen, and boy, do we do the research trying to find out if there's already a wheel that we don't need to reinvent. There just isn't one out there that we can find outside of what Nubuju Ali has put together. And going on a historical hunt for ourselves proves itself to be true because we can identify ourselves, especially with his assistance in the 101s. Someone asked Moorish earlier. Yes, we're Moorish Americans because we're actually Moroccan descendants born in America. So all that being said, all we want to do is figure this out so that we can all get recognized. This is the closest I've ever been. The Creator has allowed us to have this so far, and this bond together with each other, it can't break. We can't let differences come between us. We have to be able to talk them out and work them out. So we're going to all do that because we don't have time for anything else. And so with that in mind, I would just like to say, everyone, peace and love to you. My heart for everyone on this phone is for us to all get together, be on one page, and continue to progress in our mission towards finding out how we can get to that goal of being who we need to be. And that really is taking our place It's already set up. Everything is in place. There's no one to tell us to do anything. We just need to collectively figure it out. That much we know. That much we've come to understand. So, with that being said,
but not caught around little Jerry, huh?
Pardon? Anyway, I'm not sure who was speaking. It wasn't legible, but I'll say I look forward to seeing everyone next week, and peace and love to you all. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording for now at 7:50 p.m. Central Standard Time.
When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.